Hey guys, welcome back to CLOWNFISH TV. This is Kneon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're watching the comic book industry die in real time.
Pretty much.
I don't think I'm exaggerating. I don't think a lot of other people are exaggerating.
Oh, no, even though you've been accused of it how many times?
Yeah, we're definitely watching comics burn itself alive at this point. And even if we didn't have that situation with the shutdown, I think comics would have burned itself alive this year.
Well, you've been calling it for years.
A lot of people have. And now we're seeing the comic book media backpedal, and we're going to talk about that too. And I'm pissed. I'm legitimately
he's pretty mad.
Pissed
actually.
off. So first we're going to talk about the new Marvel initiatives, right? They've got two big launches coming out.
Big. We say that with quotations.
I'm doing it with little air quotes. Yeah, this is like Marvel is, as the comic book industry is burning to the ground, right? It's gotten so bad that the Hollywood Reporter has actually come out and said that we're in dire straits right now. Marvel decides it's going to release comics that should have come out in 2015.
It gets more and more, as Pinky would say, tone deaf, as we go on.
Yeah, maybe tone deaf is on this team. I don't know, but this is the new X-Men book, Children of the Atom. These are supposed to be the X-Men sidekicks, and this says everything right here. What is more now than Zoomers?
Written by somebody who's not a Zoomer. Guaranteed.
Yeah, look.
This is like the other one. Hey, kids,
Hey, fellow kids. So this one's getting a lot of backlash too. 9,000, almost 10,000 downvotes compared to 1.4 thousand upvotes on YouTube.
Well, no one cares about this one. I mean, it's been up for 3 days, and that's all the more interaction it's gotten.
Yeah,
We've gotten videos with more hits than that.
I know, we actually get videos with more hits than Marvel does on their official channel. Now this one, there's a lot of hate views. New Warriors, of course, we've talked about this before. Safespace and Snowflake.
So bad.
And Dora over here.
Internet gas.
Internet gas guy.
And be negative.
And Hordak, Hot Topic, whatever we're calling him. 135,000 downvotes to 3,000 upvotes.
Well, they pissed everyone off with that one.
Yeah, they did. That one I will give them. That's an equal opportunity.
And this is still creepy. I am sorry. I love my brother, but I don't love my brother this much. I'm just saying.
That is some Skywalker loving going on right there. That is what that is. Anyway, look, Marvel, you don't effing get it. You don't get it. And I think these creators are going to be in for a very, very rude awakening, because the comic book industry on the other side of the shutdown is not going to look the same. And you have a lot of people that are, what we talked about before, moving into a warm seat. They didn't have to build anything.
Well, that's what we see a lot of places. They didn't build shit, and then they sit there and tell everybody how they know more than everyone, and you have to take their hot take on whatever because they're there. My butt's in the seat, so you have to listen to what I say, even if it's completely, middle finger to the fandom.
And that's what's been going on for years, in comics. It's been going on in movies. It's going on in video games. To some degree, video games push back, and I think anime is absolutely going to push back. But comics has been especially ravaged by people who didn't build anything. They basically, moved into the industry in a parasitic fashion to use it as a springboard to get to Hollywood.
Yeah, pretty much.
And now we're seeing the comic book industry, which maybe in better times would have been able to withstand the storm that's coming. But the comic book industry now is built on sand, and it's not going to be able to survive, I don't think, what's coming with all the shutdowns. It's gotten so bad that the Hollywood Reporter is even weighing in on this.
Well, they can't survive the storm anyway, because I don't think Storm's there anymore.
She is, but she's peeling her skin off now.
Ew.
Yeah, she's.
Why? Who thought that was a good idea?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the X-Men.
That makes me want to puke.
Yeah,
Ew.
she's sort of peeling her skin off now. Ew. She's got a technovirus or something. That's the new thing.
Technovirus?
Yes.
It sounds like a virus with its own theme song.
Well, they had the technovirus thing back in the 90s, but now the X-Men have a lot to do with plants. I don't quite understand what's going on. I'm not even trying to figure it out.
God.
The X-Men are soy. They become soy. That's what's going on. They're all plant-based now. They're all vegan. The all vegan. The all new all vegan X-Men.
I don't even follow this stuff because I especially mainstream. Like other things I do, but mainstream I don't, because basically I just told them to suck it.
Suck a peach.
Yeah, a couple years ago. I'm just like, I don't care.
A lot of people don't care, and that's how we've arrived at this point. So this is where I'm pissed off. Couple things. One, when the shutdowns happened, I was actually out on Twitter saying that, here in Pennsylvania, where we're basically on lockdown, where all non-essential businesses are being shut down, I said, I just got some emails from some comic shops that said they're hoping they'll be able to open up again. They don't know if they're going to be able to open up again because we don't know how long this shutdown is going to last.
Right.
And people on Twitter are like, you're just being alarmist.
Oh, yeah.
It's not going to be that bad.
I got that on Facebook, too.
Quit your negativity.
Quit being a fearmonger.
Quit being a fearmonger. Well, now the Hollywood Reporter. Here comes the Thanos-sized punch on comic shops. Yes, retail apocalypse 2.0. We saw GameStop shut down. I don't know if they're ever going to open up again. Now we're going to see all the comic shops shut down.
But none of us want to see that.
No.
But to be fair, the mainstream industry has not done anything to stop this. In fact, I would say they're a big part of why these places are going to shut down. And they had opportunity to stop it, and they did nothing.
That is the thing. That's what's so infuriating about this whole situation is there were years and years of warnings. And you know what? The mainstream spent its time attacking YouTubers.
On the fans.
Attacking the fans.
Pushing it as far as they could into the Snowflake and Safespace, and they think they're going to stay in business. But unfortunately, how much collateral damage by these comic shops are going to be taken out? They don't want to sell pop vinyls all day. Are going to be taken out because of bad choices by these people over at the mainstream.
Some of the comic shops that we bought from, they don't even carry new issues anymore. They only carry back issues because they know the back issues will sell. They have value.
Nobody wants the new stuff.
Nobody wants the new stuff. So here we are. So it's very infuriating to read this now when, again, YouTubers have been saying for years that comics was going to be hurting. And again, people were going to be like, it had nothing to do with that. It's all because of the freak virus and the shutdowns and all of that. It's like, no. If the comic book industry had not been ground down to next to nothing, it could have probably withstood this a lot better.
Same with GameStop. GameStop was in a better position.
Yeah.
If they hadn't been worn down to almost nothing, they wouldn't be trying to Hail Mary pass the person they're bringing in, and they wouldn't have been in this position to be shut down and not be back up. So, they did it to themselves, and now, it might take them out.
Yeah, when recessions hit, they always take out the weakest businesses, the weakest business models. And we saw it, Borders, again, they weren't doing that well, and then the recession took them out. We saw that with Circuit City. This time we're definitely going to see it with like JCPenney, GameStop, a lot of other retailers, and the comic shops, which have been closing even before this. Again, this is going to be the time-traveling virus. Shops that closed 2 years ago, they're going to blame on this thing 5 years from now.
It's because of that. It could not possibly because we made dumbass decisions, treated customers like garbage, and hired people who thought the books were mouthpieces and not actual stories and about good characters. And instead of taking responsibility, they're going to blame everybody else.
Yep. And again, they're going to blame closures from a couple years ago on what's going on this month, and that's not true. So here we have Collector's Paradise is a comic book shop in LA. They're under lockdown, right? And he said they've been selling comics for 26 years. This is truly the first time we're uncertain about the future of our store. Lee's Comics in California closed down. They're not opening up again. And I think we're going to see more and more of this. So comic shops were already in the process of adapting. They tried to do the car deliveries, but now even that is being shut down.
Right, because it's non-essential.
It's non-essential business. Pennsylvania, non-essential business. Pennsylvania, the governor of Pennsylvania shut down GameStop because they were going to try to do that too.
They were sending in our county, they were sending out the sheriffs and stuff in the county to go around to businesses who were not supposed to be open and shut them down and fine them.
Yep. So now we've got a lot of the bigger retailers like Brian Hibbs, who owns several stores in the Bay Area, coming out and being like, I don't know what's going on. Marvel and DC are not saying it. Marvel's going to have a sale. DC's saying nothing. Rob Liefeld was calling out DC. Okay. And a lot of publishers are actually stepping up, like Image Comics, like Alterna Comics, talking about making their books fully returnable.
But Alterna did stuff like this before.
Yeah.
Which is what we're going to bring up.
We're going to talk about that. Because this is really pissing me off. And I actually took to Twitter yesterday to express my thoughts on it.
He's really mad, actually.
I am.
You think I get mad? He's really mad.
Yeah, I'm really mad. So DC hasn't issued any statement about what's going on, if they're going to do returnability or not. Both of these companies, Marvel and DC, are at the mercy of their corporate owners. Both of those companies, Warner Brothers and Disney, are really, really hurting right now.
Yep.
It is possible that this is the kill shot. Okay, because if either Marvel or DC goes out because they have to, because their respective companies have to save as much money as they can, there is no more direct market.
Yeah.
It can't survive without Marvel or DC, and if they both fold, it's done.
But I can't stress enough how much this could have been turned around. Like 3 years ago, you were mentioning 3 years ago, wait, Marvel's numbers are down. This is bad, guys, because they could shut Marvel down, because Disney would totally do it. I know people were like, no, they wouldn't. Like, hell, they wouldn't. They've done it before with other profitable divisions. They will shut it down if they have to save everything else. They'll keep Marvel Studios, but they'll get rid of the comics division. This is going to happen. They could have turned it around years ago, so now it would have been, even if this happened, they still could have, been strong enough to withstand it. But no, they doubled down on the bullshit instead of listening to everyone else who was telling them bad choices. And then this one, I still can't understand how anything like greenlit this. What in the literal heck made you think that was a good idea?
I don't think there's... Look, this is the problem. These people working for these publishers, they think the money isn't going to run out. They think that and again, they're using a pre-established platform. Okay, same with Hollywood. Hollywood is in for a rude awakening. They're using a pre-established platform, right? Companies with lots of money, and they think the money is not going to run out. They've never really had to worry about whether or not Disney or Warner Brothers was going to run out of money. So they could do whatever the hell they wanted to do, with impunity. And now... you might have to justify your existence.
Well, you remember back in the day, well, we don't remember, it's before our time, when these companies were scrappy and they actually went out there and got it done, and they actually, made stories that were good, and they could have got shut down several times and they still withstood it. Disney, hell, early Mickey cartoons, scrappy as heck, that little mouse. Yeah. And now he's just like, oh, golly gee, I'm a puppet with a hand up my rear for the Disney company. It's just... It's not the same, and you can't rest on your laurels right now. You cannot. No,
and that's what we're going to see, and this is what we're seeing. A lot of these smaller publishers pop up, Aftershock and Vault, they're going to suspend operations. I don't think Valiant's going to survive. Valiant told everybody to, I guess just the other day, and they were banking on Hollywood. They're banking on Bloodshot making a bunch of money. Yeah. That didn't happen. So Valiant told everybody to stop working. I don't know if they're coming back. IDW's hanging on by their fingertips.
I was going to ask IDW, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're mentioned.
Boom Studios announced their stagger new releases and guarantee returnability.
None of these publishers are in any position to be able to take a hit. None of these stores are in any position to be able to take a hit. The only companies that could have absorbed this would have been Marvel and DC because of their corporate ownership. But now their corporate owners are looking to save as much money as they possibly can.
Disney just, took out $6 billion basically in loans. Which is something that's not normal. No. The way they did it was something that's not very often seen. Because they're that desperate. Do you honestly think they're going to hold on to Marvel Comics? They'll hold on to Marvel, but they're not going to hold on to the Marvel Comics division.
So, they're trying to do a crowdfunding campaign to assist smaller retailers, and they want to raise $100,000. They've only raised $10,000.
But who decides this? Okay, so they have these funds. Who decides which retailers get help and which ones don't? Because weren't some of these retailers, they were especially by the mainstream, are being pushed out of business anyway because they didn't carry the right kind of comics.
Okay,
how do they determine who gets the relief?
That's what I'm going to talk about. Because
I was asking for real. How do they determine? Did they say?
I don't know. Let me see here. Hold on. The fundraiser will provide a one-time donation to comic shops. We'll be fulfilling requests for aid evenly across the comic book retailers that contact us directly.
That's what I was asking. So that one's going to be even. I was asking because we've seen it where comic shops were basically threatened or they were lied to or whatever. Well, Peter especially got it a lot. People wouldn't carry his books because people made phone calls and told the shops, well, you don't want to carry the comics for Alterna. They're problematic. They don't fall in line. They're Yahtzees.
That's what I'm going to talk about.
He's a white supremacist, even though he's not white.
That's what I'm going to talk about. And this is where I'm getting pissed off. because there's been a lot of chatter about what's going on, in the industry, and Peter actually got some press. Peter from Alterna Comics, friend of ours. These are our opinions, not his. I haven't spoken to him about how pissed off I really am. I mentioned a couple things to him, but I'm livid. I put this tweet out yesterday because this is what we're gonna see happen. Okay, when the chips are down, people who are hell-bent on your utter destruction last year, they're going to beg for help this year.
We're already seeing it.
We're already seeing it. Just remember who people are before you give them around your back. Of course, talking about the scorpion and the frog.
Right.
And the scorpion's like, oh, why would I kill you? Because it'll drown me too. And some people just want to destroy other people. And they'll take themselves with them. And that's what we've seen in comics. Now, let's backtrack a couple of years. How did we get into this stuff
How
that we're
did the
doing?
channel even start?
Well, the channel actually started us playing video games. But
And me getting mad about Gem.
and then we moved on to She-Ra and other things that Geeky wanted to rant about.
Yeah, sorry.
But what came up and what really did it for us to get into the comic book thing is we worked in comics for years. Geeky and I worked on our own comics projects. We had a literary agent pitching graphic novels. We've pitched animated series to Disney and other companies. We've got a lot of contacts in comics in the animation industry. I worked on Disney Comics for like 15 years.
I helped, but I didn't get the credit.
Yes, you did. I had to fight to get her credit.
And I got credit on one of the books I did, even though I did countless books.
Bunch. I know, I was so mad about that. Anyway, we saw what went down with the Mark Waid situation. Now, we've never made any disparaging comments about Mark Waid, because we actually know him somewhat, but we could not stand by and watch what he was doing, which is basically to play the moral authority.
It was wrong.
It was wrong what he did.
It was basically like, gatekeeping to the umpteenth level. And we're like, we're not going to sit there and watch it. But even before that, though, you had written the article you wrote on our other blog, which we no longer own, which is a whole other thing.
That's a whole other thing.
And
about the Marvel
said
sales
about
numbers.
the Marvel sales numbers. And that's what set it off, because as soon as he wrote that article, a whole bunch of our friends, people that we've been friends with for years, people we have met in person, all of a sudden they unfollowed you. And then as the blockchains went around, even if you had not done anything wrong or said anything, you were, blocked for no reason by people who are supposedly friends of ours. Because they were so damn afraid they wouldn't get their cookie that they instead threw their friends under the bus. And you know what? Guess what? You're still not getting your damn cookie. And we at least had the guts to say something and not stay silent while you sat there with a ball gag in your mouth begging for a cookie.
Yeah, and you can't even eat a cookie if you got balls in your mouth.
Exactly, that's my point.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you got balls in your mouth, you can't eat a cookie.
That's my point. See how clever I am?
So we basically torched our own potential comics career. Now, at that point, to be fair, we'd already pretty much decided that comics didn't make a whole lot of money.
They didn't make any money. What was the point?
But we had friends in the industry, literally, who blocked us. I got, concerned messages behind the scenes. Geeky got jumped on a webcomics message board.
Yeah.
By people who are going around stirring all kinds of trouble up about...
Yeah, they backed down for me.
Yeah, they did back down. They did.
You were like, don't, they're paying, don't engage. And I'm like, have you met me? And then I engaged, but they backed down.
So here's what I'm saying. In this clip, they don't show up, but the clip's actually from Batman Begins, where Batman's like, I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you. And that's my feeling on this situation. Okay, so we're going to talk about Peter Simeti. Okay, we're going to talk about how now CB Cebulski came down from on high the other day and actually interacted with Peter. Alterna Comics has been saying, they've been sounding the warning bells for a long time right now. Alterna Comics got shunned by the mainstream comic book industry because, they were hanging out with the wrong kinds of people.
No, he put that thing in place. When everybody was doing those, we're going block crazy. He's basically like, hey, if you're working on Alterna books, you can't just block people for no reason. If you have a good reason, that's one thing. But if you're using blockchains and block lists and all that, you can't use that. Which I gotta tell you, having worked in professional circles before, it's not uncommon for your employer to give you like certain things you can and can't say, to give you guidelines, and to say you can't just go blocking people because it's bad for business. It's not unusual, contrary to what they were all yelling about.
Well, I think they were already upset about Alterna because, oh my God, some comics gators actually liked Alterna Comics because they weren't getting political.
Yeah.
Even though Alterna Comics had been around for 13 years.
But you can have stories about politics in them?
I know, imagine
Oh my
that.
God.
So the blockchain thing was just, I think, kind of a ruse to get Alterna because they weren't playing ball, right? And
I know that. They're using it as an excuse, but what they were asking wasn't unfair.
Yeah, so all the media outlets made a big deal about how awful Alterna Comics was. Peter Simeti wound up getting swatted. He wound up getting swatted because he was the wrong kind of person. We had people coming out and saying that Alterna Comics was accused of supporting white supremacy.
He's not white.
He's not even white. You know, all this bullshit. The whole comic book industry decided it was going to try to drive Peter Simeti out.
They were calling up comic shops and telling them not to carry his books and all kinds of stuff.
No, for a fact, there are some comic shops that they refuse, even to this day, refuse to carry Alterna Comics because for some reason, somebody somewhere was going around telling everybody Alterna Comics was a bunch of alt-right Yahtzees.
Well, it's probably another one of those cases why it'd be a real shame if you couldn't get books anymore from the mainstream, wouldn't it? So you better carry what we tell you, because, you know.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about that is there is a person who has a lot of influence over retailers, who's involved in another situation right now trying to keep somebody out of comics. And what I'm saying, okay, so now, at the 11th hour, after running Peter through the mud, running Alterna through the mud, and after refusing to give them any press for like a year and a half because of all this bullshit, now they want to quote Peter Simeti. Now CB Cebulski can descend from on high and interact with Peter Simeti.
Right.
Now Bleeding Cool is going to run a story by Peter Simeti, or run his press release talking about how the industry's hanging on a thread because Alterna, ironically enough, because of the bullshit that went on in the mainstream, Alterna might actually survive this.
Yeah.
Because their business model is not dependent on comic shops. They do a lot.
They forced them out, so they had to adapt. And now these other companies cannot adapt because they forced everybody else out to hold it for themselves, and now it's all collapsing underneath them.
Yeah. So I'm just like, I think this is really funny because this comes even before the shutdown, even before all this stuff was going down. You know, you had people out there like Gail Simone.
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
Who was, you know, putting out quote unquote olive branch and trying to go on YouTube and all that.
Basically, Gail Simone couldn't do what she wanted and people weren't watching her, so she's just like, here guys, you know, I'll unblock you, you know, if you come watch me. Like, does anybody really give a shit if she unblocks you to go watch her? I don't think I was blocked anyway, but I didn't pay attention to her before this.
So here's my thing. Okay, this is my opinion because, you know, having been on the receiving end of this, and again, we haven't been on the receiving end as much as a lot of people.
No.
But the damage has been done. You know, we felt it. There's a lot of stuff that goes on back channel with us that we don't talk about.
Oh yeah, you know, people talk about sources. We may or may not have been sources for a lot of channels before we started our own.
So I'm just telling you, you know, somebody that's been on the receiving end of this, that we basically, you know, burned down and we knew if we opened our mouths, that was it. We were never going to get back in comics.
We talked about it for like days. We talked about it. We're like, should we do it? Shouldn't we?
Shouldn't we?
And then we're like, you know what? We're not going to do anything with it anyway. And it's not making money. People aren't being paid. There's a lot of things we see that aren't right. And we can sit there and get on our knees and be like, yes, sir, and hope we get a crumb of that cookie. Or we could sit there and say, you know what? We might lose everything, but this isn't right. Yep. And that's what we did. We knew we could lose everything, and we still did it anyway because we're like, this is not right, and we're not going to sit by and watch bullshit go down and say nothing. If you've watched our channel, this should not surprise you.
Yeah, this is who we are. So, anyway, so now these idiots see that the Titanic is sinking. And it's being sped up because of that thing we can't talk about, but it was coming anyway. And they had years of warning. And they attacked and demonized YouTubers and critics for years. Now they want a life raft. Now they want a life raft. And you know my attitude on that? Go build your own fucking life raft.
Yeah,
you sank the ship. You sank the ship. You go build your own life raft.
You threw all these people overboard while you were sinking the ship. So it was your ship. I'm the captain, and you threw everybody overboard. So they had to come up with life rafts, and now you want them to help you. And it's like, for what? To what end? Because you know what? In the end of the day, you're not going to remember it anyway.
No.
Because there are people that you threw overboard that did help you. There's friends of ours that threw us overboard that we helped get them work. And they threw us overboard anyway because they were chasing the, Marvel or DC or whatever. And you know what? F that, because we found another way. You didn't. That's not our problem, because we were more than willing to help you before, and you treated us like shit. So we're not going to help you now.
Yeah. You're going to see a bunch of people come out of the woodwork who were instrumental, okay? Who were trying to literally destroy people, keep them out of comics. Whether it's YouTubers or guys like Peter Simeti, they tried to destroy their livelihoods, and now they're gonna be like, oh golly, can't we all be friends?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Well, they might not say that, but you will.
I will.
I mean,
fuck you.
I encourage, and I'm not usually one to say this. I'm actually like, oh, sure, so mean. No, actually, I'm actually not. If you knew me in person, but I normally don't encourage you to like not help people. But it's up to you. You can personally do what you feel like you should. But in this situation, people went out of their way to disparage others, out of their way to make sure people got blocked or kept out or gate kept.
Yeah.
And then these are the same people who now want help. And if you think for one effing second they're not going to do it again on the other side of this when they think that there's something that they'll get if they do it, you're mistaken.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what's going to happen. They're going to take your life raft. They're going to kick you out of your life raft.
Right.
Take it for themselves is what they're going to do.
And then they're going to go around and get everybody else's life raft, start tying them together. I'm the king of the life rafts now, and everybody else is in the water trying to stay afloat.
Scorpion and the Frog. The Scorpion is what the Scorpion is, and these people have proven themselves to be nasty, catty, backbiting, devious, underhanded scum.
And they had no problem, like, flaunting where their position.
Yeah.
I'm up here and you're down there. And they could have gave you a leg up.
They absolutely
But if you
could.
weren't the right kind of person, if you weren't from Tumblr, forget it.
Yeah, and there were olive branches that were tried, people had tried to extend olive branches before, and they were told to shove the olive branch up their ass.
They were. It happened multiple times. People gave them warnings, kept saying, look, guys, this is going to happen. Please listen. What do you know? I'm up here on the throne. Peon. I have got this warm seat handed to me. I am the king or queen of the seat.
Yeah, there are going to be a lot fewer jobs in comics after this thing blows through. You know what? And that's terrible. But I'm also like, some of these people, I think they need to learn to code. I think they need to learn another skill. Yeah. They need to get the hell out of the comic book industry because they are responsible in part for it burning to the ground.
And to our quote unquote friends who blocked us and then wouldn't talk to us anymore for no other reason than somebody said we were bad on a blockchain, even though we hadn't actually done anything at that point in time. Anyway, CD out there, RC out there, people who out there that were our friends and suddenly didn't talk to us anymore, blocked us. I don't need negativity in my life, all this other stuff. You know what? A big F you to all of you, because you know what? We never did anything to warrant being blocked. And you didn't even talk to us about it. You just blocked us. And then we got accused of leading wrong politically. And if you'd actually talked to us, we weren't.
People know who we are.
This is stupid. You knew us personally. You knew we weren't those people. Yeah, you went along with it because you were afraid you wouldn't get your crumb.
And guess what? You build your own life raft.
Yeah, good luck.
And I'm just really sincerely hoping that when this blows over, people don't forget. And again, I'm not talking about people who were like, maybe caught up in things, whatever. I'm talking about people who were actively hell-bent on trying to destroy YouTubers, actively hell-bent on trying to destroy careers with gossip and whisper networks, trying to destroy you by shunning you.
Block
bots. Those are the people I'm talking about. Do not forget. Because they're going to try to be real nice now because they have nothing else, but they will absolutely take your life raft and kick you out of it.
Exactly.
And I'm hoping, again, I can't speak for Peter, but you know what? They're going to use him now. They're going to use his ideas now. And I remember not too long ago that they were all siding with these D-list creators. Oh my gosh, Alterna Comics is problematic. And I hope Alterna survives this. I think they will. And I hope that they, are there to crow about the fact that they were able to.
He wouldn't anyway.
He wouldn't.
I can't see him doing that.
No. But it's going to be funny in 2 years.
We normally wouldn't either. We were always ones that people knew if they needed help, if they needed opinions, they needed suggestions, that we'd be the ones to help them, and we did. Yeah. Many, many, many times. And,
even at risk to us, and again, I'm not saying that we won't help people. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, there are people out there who actively tried to destroy careers that should never be forgotten.
Nope.
So that's just my 2 cents. As the comic book industry burns down, very unfortunate. It is. There are a lot of good or neutral people that are going to get caught up in this situation. Shops are going to close. A lot of people who are just putting their time in making comic books just want to work in comics. They don't have a dog in this fight. They're going to lose their jobs.
Yeah.
Because it's sad. It's really, really sad. But there are other ways to make comics. It's just not this system. This direct market is not going to happen. It's done. It's over. So we're going to wrap it up.
Yep.
Okay, so please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. And we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.